The role of anesthesia, I think it's sometimes underappreciated how central it is to a hospital. I mean, if you can't staff an anesthesia department, I mean, you can't have a hospital that's functional.
It is a game changer to have anesthesia in-house 24/7, a team of people that you know and trust and feel comfortable working with at all hours. And that can mean all the difference.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Sear. I am the chief of anesthesia with NAPA here at Lawrence General Hospital. You know, this is the first leadership role I took on, and I was a bit hesitant when I did take it on. And when I first started, you know, so much of my job was just hiring and interviewing people because we were so understaffed.
When I first started here, we were in transition. We had a lot of locum staff, temporary staff, and only a small group of permanent people. And you know, when you're not at your own house, you don't treat it the same.
Dr. Sear and I became chiefs at the same time. So he's the chief anesthesiologist, I'm the chief CRNA. And we decided together that we felt like this was a challenge that we could take on.
And we just did a huge, you know, hiring push. The very first year we were in these roles, to the point where we're basically have a fully staffed department, so no more locums usage. You know, you see the same faces every day, and I think that's made a big difference in terms of how our department is able to interface with the hospital and take quality care of our patients.
One of the greatest impacts on the care that we get to give at Lawrence General Hospital in the last many years has been the transition to having 24/7 in-house anesthesia coverage. Because previously, you might be in-house with a patient laboring who needs a stat C-section all of a sudden for reasons that you can't predict. And if your anesthesiologist is 25 minutes away and has to come in, it's a really stressful 25 minutes. So the impact on patient care of having someone who's right here and you call up and they just walk over to the unit is a game changer.
We were very fortunate that NAPA gave us a package that we could offer to clinicians that would draw people here. So between the student loan benefits, the relocation benefits, and some sign-on bonus, we were able to get good clinicians in the door.
Now that we're sitting in a very privileged position of being fully staffed, you know, I have the bandwidth to interface with our quality director and really kind of, you know, look at what are we doing? How can we doing it better? Meet with our surgeons, you know, how can we be doing more for this service line? You know, even just the surgeon's attitude. Like when I first came here, they were seeing different faces every day, and nobody wants to go at work doing a very stressful job, you know, with patients and not knowing who's across the drapes or, you know, who's handing you your instruments. And so I think seeing the same faces every day at work, you know, makes a big difference. And I think kind of allows everyone to take care of our patients in a much more, you know, calm, cool, and efficient manner.
It is incredibly reassuring when we are in the labor and delivery room and we call anesthesia and we can be within minutes back into the OR and having a patient under general anesthesia and getting the baby out within the time frame that we really want.
Time is of the essence. So we might have as short as 5 minutes to build a meaningful connection with this patient before they entrust us to take their lives into their hands. That's a really special bond and connection that we form with patients.
L&D is different, labor and delivery, because the patient's awake. So it's a very, very different situation. The mom's awake there. She's scared a lot of the times, especially after hours. I do emergency C-section, so she's not expecting it. She's not mentally prepared. She's scared.
Just coming in and letting that patient know that you 100% have their best interest at heart and that you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that they're safe and comfortable is really important.
It is really meaningful to the patients that I take care of that they can come down the street, come to Lawrence General, and that they can have their care managed close to home. We know how important it is to be able to visit your family members when they're in the hospital or to see that baby when the baby's born. And that would be really hard for a lot of people in our community if they had to go down to Boston. And so having that care close to home means the world to our patients.
I went into anesthesia because I love being able to alleviate people's pain. It is just so gratifying to be able to come in and make someone feel better and just ensure that they're going to be safe and comfortable.
So anesthesia was a perfect blend of being able to do all those critical care things while focusing on one patient at a time, finishing the task, and then getting your next thing to do. So I've never been happier. I'm so happy that I chose anesthesia.
We have 2 or 3 minutes to build rapport with our patients, and then we're giving them medications where we're rendering them unconscious, we're stopping their breathing, we take over all of their protective reflexes and meeting them at their most vulnerable time. And you're making sure that you're keeping them, safe and healthy and allowing the surgeons to do their jobs. And I just find it hugely rewarding. And there's never a dull day. There's always something new in our field. And so I feel very, honored and privileged to be doing what I'm doing and hope to continue doing it for a long time.